Hi class, welcome back to our subject, Organization and Management. So we're going to continue our discussion about Chapter 4, Organizing. So previously, we already discussed about the nature of organizations and the type of organization structures. And then earlier this week, we already tackled the organization theories and application and all about delegation. So our topic for today is the last remaining lesson under organizing, which is the formal and informal organizations. Lesson 5, Formal and Informal Organization. So, in an organization, so it is determined by the kind of relationship that prevail in each organization type. So, it can be formal organization or informal organizations. So, now we're going to discuss what set these two types of organization apart from each other. And then we're going to discuss what are the following functions or tasks being done in this type of organizations, as well as their advantages and disadvantages. Formal organizations refer to organizations formed by the company owner or manager to help the firm accomplish its goals. So it is also made up of formal groups such as work groups, project team, committee, then it is similarly formed by the company authorities to support their activities and achieve their objectives. So technically, it is characterized by hierarchical and reporting relationships among groups or members. While informal organizations, so it refers to organization that exist because of friendship or common interests. So it is made up of informal groups which exist for the members' need for social affiliation. So examples of formal organizations are the company or businesses, which for example SM, Robinsons, Ayala, and then also government organizations such as Department of Education, Department of Foreign Affairs, Commission on Audit, and such. And while informal organization, so since it is made up of informal groups with common interests, so examples of these are the clubs or social networks. Like for example, Makati Sports Club. So that's an example of informal organization. So right now we're going to understand the functions under formal organization. So first one is it accomplish goals that require cooperation or collaboration among formal groups in the organization. So as I told you earlier that in formal organization, so it is formed to help the firm accomplish its goals. So through cooperation and collaboration, so this group of people support each other in order to achieve their common goal. So, number two is to produce or bring about new and creative ideas and solutions to company problems. So, again, in order to achieve those goals, so you will have problems along the way. The so in a formal organization, so they need to bring and formulate new and creative ideas as well as solutions to those problems. Number three, coordinate interdepartmental activities. So since you belong in one organization, it is very much needed that all of the activities must be coordinated with one another. So, yan kasi mga departments na yan is connected yan with each other. So, kailangan maayos yung flow na nangyayari dun sa organization. Then, number four, implement company rules or regulations and policies. So, it is also for the achievement of the goal. So, dapat sinusunod lahat and nai-implement ng maayos yung rules and regulations or yung policies ng company or formal organizations. And then number five, orient or train new employees. So since they're new employees, you need to orient them on what's going on in the organization, or what's the organization for, what is the company's objectives, or what are the rules and regulations, and you also need to train them in order for them to be fit on their jobs. So again, that's the functions under formal organizations. Meanwhile, informal organizations function includes the following. So number one, they satisfy the members' need for affiliation. So what is affiliation? Affiliation is the act of connecting or associating with a person or organization. So, ito yung state ng pagiging closely associated or affiliated with particular person or group. So, under informal organization, nasasatisfy nun yung affiliation ng members with one another, or yung closeness, or yung state of being close with one another. Number two, give the individual members a chance to develop their self-esteem. So since informal organizations exist because of friendship or common interest or common affiliation with one another, so within those group, you can develop your self-esteem since you are closely related or closely affiliated with one another. So there's a chance of developing your self-esteem. Number three, give individual members an opportunity to share their ideas. So they can freely say what they want, share their ideas in order to resolve some issues within the organization, or just to share something that can help the organization or that can help the other members. Number four, lessen individual members' insecurities. So, since informal organizations are formed through common interest or same experiences, so or same hobbies, so you can share or you can freely share what are your insecurities, and you can also listen to the other members' insecurities, and then you help one another in order to lessen that and eventually remove all of those insecurities. And then number five, provide a mechanism to solve members' personal and interpersonal problems. So since you have a close affiliations with one another, or you're going to build up a close relationship with one another, so you will have your own support system, and then you can have a mechanism in order to resolve that personal or interpersonal problems. Like for example, you can do some activities with one another, like for example you're going on a team building, or you're going on a um yoga or fitness club, or any activities that can uplift you and that can improve your physical, personal, emotional, and mental well-being. So now that we know already the functions under formal and informal, and we know the differences of those two, so we're going to understand now the disadvantages and advantages of forming formal and informal organizations. So first, we have here formal organization. So number one, for the advantages, it is working systematically. So since you have a different team in an organization or in a formal organization, so one advantage is that you can work systematically. So you have a process, and you have a basic structure of the division of work and responsibilities. So without such a structure, it will be very difficult for employees to agree among themselves on duties. So that's why In formal organization, they are working systematically. And also, the organization's objectives or goals is well established here in the formal organization. Kasi it is very clear and talagang ino-orient lahat ng employees and lahat ng members. And then, number three, there's no duplication or overlapping of work. So, di ba nga, the work is systematically divided among various departments and employees, so there's no chance of duplication or overlapping. And then number four, efficient coordination among departments. So this structure results in coordination activities of various departments. Di ba, one of the functions under um, formal organizations our formal organization is to coordinate interdepartmental activities. So, ibig sabihin, maayos yung flow and then well-coordinated yung mga work nung bawat departments. And then number five, implementation of chain of command and professional relationship. So why? Because in a formal organization, the chain of command is clearly drawn so that the personnel in the organization can follow them and can follow the order depending on the chain of command. And then also, it is being strictly followed so that um you can achieve the company goal. Kasi syempre, yung mas nakakataas, sila yung mas nakakaalam talaga kung ano ba yung objective, and then they can really oversee the work of everyone in the organization. So again, those are the advantages of formal organization. So let's go now to the disadvantages. So number one, delay in feedback and action due to the established chain of command. So, since in a formal organization, performing a task needs many formal procedures to accompany. So, such formalities slow down the implementation of decision making, thus making delays in feedback and actions. So, since, for example, meron talaga tayong sinusunod na process, so mas napapatagal niya or napapabagal niya yung mga feedback or yung actions. Kasi meron kang certain chain of command. So like for example, dapat dadaan muna sa manager, and then sa senior manager, and then sa department head, and then saka pa lang siya makakapunta sa president or vice president, and then sa president pa nga. So there will be delay in the feedback or actions. And then number two, it ignores the psychological and social needs of employees. So in the structure of formal organization, so it does not give importance to psychological and social need of employees, which may lead to demotivation of employees. So it is common to some organizations na hindi ang pinaka-importante lang talaga is yung goal ng goal ng company or goal ng business. So minsan hindi na nila na pagtutuunan yung importance ng psychological and social need ng mga employees nila. And then number three, emphasis on work only and overlooks the human relations, talents, and creativity of employees. So, dahil nga directly focus sila sa objectives and goals, so isa din to sa hindi na nila napapansin or na-overlook ng formal organization. So again, those are the disadvantages of formal organizations. So right now, we're going to discuss naman the advantages and disadvantages of informal organizations. So first advantage of informal organization is that there is a fast communication due to the absence of standard operating procedures and protocols. So since the informal organization, there is an informal structure, so it does not follow the scalar chain, so there can be faster spread of communication. And then number two, it gives importance to the psychological and social needs of the employees. So since 'di ba, ang informal organization is made up out of the friendship or the common interest. So each of the employees under these informal organizations um, are well motivated because naa-address yung psychological and social needs nila. And then number three, the top managers can solicit feedback directly from the employees on new policies and plans. So, through the informal structure, so the top level managers can know the real feedback of employees on various policies and plans. So, since wala nga kasing sinusunod dito na formal structure, so yung top management, makakuha agad sila ng direct feedback from their employees. So, what are the disadvantages naman of informal organizations? So, number one, it is more susceptible to rumor mongering. So, um, according to a survey, 70% of information spread through informal organization structure are rumors which may mislead the employees. So since wala nga kasi silang parang chain of command, so parang closely affiliated with one another, so it is more susceptible to rumors. Number two, there is no systematic workflow in place. So since the structure in an informal organization is also informal, so it does not follow a form of structure na smooth working for an organization. So, unlike formal organization, meron talagang systematic coordination with one another or with the departments in an organization. So, dito kasi wala siyang systematic na workflow. Number three, difficulty in implementing new rules and policies. So, since the structure nga is informal, so it can bring negative results because in an informal organization, it opposes the policies and changes of management. Then, it will result to a very difficult implementation of those new rules and policies in an organizations. So, ganun yung nangyayari sa informal organization. And then number four, more emphasis on the individual interest of each employee rather than the overall goal of the company. So, since it gives more emphasis to individual interest, as compared to organizational interest. So, disadvantage siya for the organization kasi parang ang nangyayari is kanya-kanyang interest rather than the overall goal of the company. So, that's the advantages and disadvantages of informal organization. So I hope you understand more the difference between the formal and informal organization through the understanding of their advantages and disadvantages. And that's the last lesson under chapter 4, organizing. So again, under organizing, we have discussed nature of organizations, the types of organization structures, the organization theories and application, and then delegation, and our topic earlier, the formal and informal organizations. So our next topic or the next chapter will be all about staffing. So that will be our discussion for next week. Again, that's all for today, class. If you have any concern or if you have any question, feel free to message me. Thank you, God bless, and be safe always.